What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Area Football Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield. If you want to get a car, if you need a car, you go to Spitzer of Mansfield, and they will take care of you. I mean, they got a shield. Look at the shield. I mean, it's so cool.
Spitzer shield.
The Spitzer shield. That means they are legit.
Yeah.
I am Travis Big League Berardi. This is Hayden Yak. Gray Yak, yards after catch. The guy he can break some tackles.
Okay.
Let me tell you what. We're here once again, week 4. It's crazy to think we're already through 4 weeks. That's my shtick. I'm going to say it every week. But only 6 away from the path to Canton and Hall of Fame Stadium. I did see something on social media today that the OHSA was up there in Canton just scouting out the place. They got everything built, the new Jumbotron and everything's in there. So maybe one of these players that we have in our top 10 will be up there first weekend of December. But let's get right into the thick of things. Our passing, our receiving, and our rushing leaders. And let's take a look first at the 10 through 5 players passing. First, Cameron Kuhn of Madison, 732 yards on 62 of 146 passing, 7 touchdowns. Malachi Bayless of Bucyrus, 761 passing yards, 57 of 108 passing for 6 touchdowns. Matt Sprang has completely turned his squad around after that week 1 loss. Hayden, 56 of 101, 788 yards, 6 touchdowns for Loudonville, who, hey, they're in that K-Mac race right now after a big win over Mount Gilead, giving them their first loss of the season, as well as Danville. I believe they've done that as well. Blake Foose, Seneca East, 84 of 119 passing, 799 yards, 10 touchdowns. Brandon Mitchell, who should just put a cot in the top 10 passing because he's been there since the start of last season. 916 yards passing in only 4 weeks, 52 of 75, very efficient as well, 9 touchdowns. And then West Holmes Mason Wolf, a big win over Mansfield Senior to remain unbeaten, 990 yards already, 52 of 75. Same passing as Brandon Mitchell, but a little bit more on the yardage for 9 touchdowns as well. But Mason really doing things over at West Holmes, Hayden.
Yeah, they're having a great year. I know that we've talked about it here and on many shows that West Holmes could be one of those contenders with the experience they bring over from last year. Could be in that postseason pretty deep this season.
All right, now to our number 4 passer, and that is Caden Holman of Upper Sandusky, 990 yards as well. So it's kind of 4A and 4B with these two. But I gave him because of the more completions he had. Yeah. I should have actually gone by completion percentage. But hey, we'll fix that next time. Not too often you see 2 players in the top 10 with the exact same amount of passing yards after 4 weeks. But hey, we have it here in North Central Ohio. Now to our number 3 passer, and that is Braden Devito, the sensational freshman from the Shelby Whippets. Already over 1,000 yards passing through 4 games. It looks like the Whippets for the next few years have their QB1.
Yeah, it's obvious his confidence is building week by week, and I'm sure the coaching staff's thrilled to see it. Offense is happy to kind of have that control at the quarterback position, so great things from the young Whippet.
Now to number 2, the human Madden character of Kian Shadown, 1,000 yards passing on 84 of 147, 11 touchdowns, but that's not all he can do, Hayden, as we break him down a little bit more.
Yeah, you're going to see here in these moving pictures that he's more than just a passer, and so I think this dynamic ability he has with both skill sets makes him one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top, in the MOAC. He's just got such a great group of teammates around him. His brother Kian Shadown at wide receiver, Grant Butler, his offensive line, the running back room, the defense that allows him to get the ball back, all contributors to his overall success, allowing him to rake in those 11 TDs on 84 completions for 1,041 yards.
And watch this play. Those voting still for play of the week, this has to be it. If not, I'm
and
just
get your
done.
votes in today.
I'm just done. This is not another Marshall Shepard type deal. That has to be one of the best plays that we will see all season. But hey, one Victor Skoog had something to say about it because Clear Fork came out with a 44-42 victory to maintain that number 1 ranking in the MOAC. And now, you've been waiting, and it's still the monumental numbers put up by Isaac Robinson. There is one other Willard Flash that I don't know. Did he do this well He was in the NFL, though, so, I mean, he has,
Yeah,
he has
have to
a
dive to the
plaque
record
there
books.
and everything like that, but 1,473 yards through 4 games, over 300 yards a game. I mean, I can't even do this on Madden.
No, he's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes and their QB, their playmaker, just putting up insane numbers. Hopefully, we'll have a chance to come out and see it in person this year.
Yeah, maybe, because Willard, they're 3-1.
Yeah.
They have a shot. If they get a couple more wins, they'll already clinch a playoff spot. But that is the passers, the top 10 passers. But, you know, they gotta throw it to some guys, you know, Hayden. And it's time now for those top 10 pass catchers. At numbers 10 through 5, number 10, Gavin Frey of Upper Sandusky. Hasn't reached the end zone, but he gets his team down towards the end zone. 23 catches, 295 yards. And then there's the first of, I'll give it away, 2 Willard Flashes here in the top 10. Carson Sinninger, 17 catches, 306, 4 touchdowns. At number 8, Ethan Hill of Upper Sandusky. There's the other one. He has gotten in the end zone twice, rather to say from Frey, who hasn't, but Ethan Hill, once they get down there, he's found the end zone twice. 15 catches, 321 yards. At number 7, Chris Buchanan of Western Reserve, 20 catches, 325 yards, and a touchdown. Number 6, Jonathan Metzger, once again in the top 10, 391 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. And then Kyle Maltrich from West Holmes, big game against Mansfield Senior, Hayden.
Yeah, he had a monster game that's just added on to his total this season. 20 receptions, 416 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Monster year that he is having right now, the junior. And our Brian Skronsky had a chance to catch up with him after their victory last week against Mansfield Senior. And here's what Kyle had to say about his season.
I feel like my job is spreading out the defense. Coach does a good job of spreading me out all throughout the field, in the slot, and going out wide, and basically putting me everywhere where I'm open. I can run short routes across the field, deep routes, and that allows the defense to spread out. And it certainly allows teams to focus on me, which opens up my teammates Evan Proper and Nate Fair and Logan Zollers and all my receivers. And also with the DB stretching out, it opens up the box. I think our line does a good job getting who they need to, which opens up for our very good running back, Sam Williams-Dixon. I have to give a huge props to all the seniors. They were great leaders, and honestly, I was young last year. I was just a sophomore. And having Tucker Kaufman, Raider Estep, all in front of me taught me so many things. A big one, Raider, is finding open grass. A lot of the routes he calls, Coach entrusts me. I just got to go find open grass. And with those leaders, I feel like they founded us. They shaped us for this year. And being able to carry on and showing what they've done for us and taking it to a next step, I think we're very capable of doing that.
So Kyle, top 5 in receptions for a team that they went to the Final Four last year. They return him. They return Sam Williams-Dixon, a Big Ten scouted player already. They have a chance, and like head coach Eric Will said before, they might win a state championship this year. They do have a tough region. They have Cleveland, Glenville, and then the likes of Shelby, Clear Fork. But right now, West Holmes, they are the team to beat in North Central Ohio.
Yeah, they've got it going on, and I think that it's almost pretty much safe to say after the defeat of Mansfield Senior, shouldn't have too much competition. Hopefully, if they can keep doing what they're doing for that OCC at least.
All right, now to number 4, Isaac Blair. You knew Mitchell had to throw it to somebody after the top 2 receivers graduated last year. Blair just stepped right into that position. 39 catches, 465 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Now to number 3, Kian Shadown, Caden's brother, over 500 yards in only 4 games, so half of Caden's offense going right to the brother. Kian, 36 catches, 510, and 4 touchdowns. Now to number 2, and there's the other half of that Willard double-decker.
Whatever you want to call it, yeah.
I don't know. I just thought of that. It was terrible, whatever. 11 touchdowns between Robinson and Sinninger as well, but 25 catches, 533, and 7 touchdowns. And our number one receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey, 25 catches, 549, so he's 16 ahead of Robinson and 3 touchdowns. So the Shelby Whippets, they got that number 1 wide receiver, they got that number 1 quarterback set down now as we go on to week number 5.
Yeah, Travis, and Isaiah was one of those guys that you could see was a playmaker last season. Didn't have to do as much last year because you had the likes of an Andre Hill around him, a Blaine Bowman. But this year with those guys gone, Isaiah definitely had a lot of expectations placed on him by the coaching staff, by his team, and right now he's living up to those, doing a nice job for the Whippets.
So there you go. The passing and receiving, but you know what? I still think North Central Ohio is a rushing area for football because, you know, all these teams, they like to spread it out now and you can go right at you, but, you know, we have some players, some running backs and some teams that just want to run it down your throat. And I'm not only talking about Lucas, the RPO, but there's a lot of very good running backs in this area. So let's get right to it now. Our top 10 rushing leaders. Here's numbers 10 through 5. At number 10, Blake Fusa, Seneca East. 6 touchdown rushes, 502 yards. You have to go over 500 yards just to break the top 10 through week 4. Like I said, this is a rushing area, Hayden.
It is, and I mean, just monster numbers to be at that point in this season. You're already averaging over 100 yards a game, so impressive all around by this whole list.
At number 9, Gabe Ivy Galleon. They've turned it around, 2 wins to get back to 500. 521 yards, 67 carries, 8 touchdowns. Let's take a closer look at Mr. Ivy, Hayden.
Yeah, let's do that because he's having a really special season, helping the Tigers, as you said, get back to 2-2, so 500 on the year and 1-0 in the MOAC play, and just great numbers from him. 521 yards, as you brought up, so already over that half 1,000-yard season, almost 10 touchdowns, just 2 short, and doing this all under 70 carries, 67 for your guy Gabe Ivy, and just what an incredible gesture from this young man, dedicating the rest of his season to their fallen teammate Cooper McCabe. So playing inspired football right now, and Gabe Ivy, one of those guys, you know, really stepped up and has been a leader for this team.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a feel-good story to see this team rally around one family, one community, one football team. And Galleon right now, hey, get a couple more wins, they could clinch a playoff spot, and they're still in it for the MOAC race as well. They got some big games coming up. At number 8, a player from a squad that I think has already clinched a playoff spot, and that is Addison Raymer from the state-ranked Crestview Cougars. 84 carries, 538 yards, 11 touchdowns. And I know your eyes are not deceiving you. There are 2, count them, 2 Mount Gilead Indians with over 70 carries, over 575 yards, and over 5 touchdowns. That is Garrett George at 6, Matthew Bland at 7. Bland, 77 carries, 584, and 6 touchdowns. George, 71 carries, 599 yards, and 8 touchdowns for a Mount Gilead squad. The feel-good surprise of this year so far, 3-1, and they also, right now, sticking around that KMAC race. At number 5, Quincy Krabs. Crab walking up the top 10. Now he's at number 5, 87 carries, 624 yards, and 4 touchdowns. At number 4, Tyler Johnson. No, the quarterback is supposed to be here in the top 10 rushing. 96 times has he carried the ball. Tebow 2.0, I like to call him.
I think so.
625 yards, so 1 more than Krabs, and 6 touchdowns for a Centerburg team fighting for a KMAC championship. At number 3, Shea Sparks of Plymouth, over 250 rushing in his last game. 60 carries, 652, and if my math is right, that's over 10 yards a carry right there. I mean, you just can't stop him. 11 touchdowns for Plymouth, who also has turned it around and are, I believe, 3-1 as well. We'll see if they make the Country Roads rankings here this week or in the next couple of weeks. At number 2, Tegan Rule drops down to number 2. 80 carries, 670 yards, and 8 touchdowns. You think, oh, 670 yards in 4 games? That should be well beyond our number 1 guy. But you all know who's number 1. He's back at the top spot after dropping 1 last week due to a good effort by the Crestview defense. But Dane Nauman back to where he should be, and a good 114 yards ahead of Tegan Rule. 104 carries, 784 yards, and 8 touchdowns, as the sensation from Highland just running over defenses.
Yeah, when you have those kind of numbers, averaging almost 8 yards a carry, that troubles defenses. And I'm sure a lot of D coordinators out there spend the bulk of their week making a game plan around this one guy, so you know you're doing something right if you can cause problems like that on opposing defenses. Dane Nauman coming for that crown this year.
All right, so there you have it. The top passers, top receivers, and top rushers around the area, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield. They got a shield. I mean, it's if you got a shield, that means you're legit, and they are legit. You need a vehicle, head over to Spitzer of Mansfield. But what did you like out of those top 10 rankings, Hayden, other than us breaking it down, I should say?
Yeah, I think something that's caught on, especially once we get to this point in the season, is that none of these guys can get onto our list and get this recognition without all other 10 guys around them doing their job. So just want to give a big group shout out to all the linemen, the defense, just everyone that you don't get to see every name on this list. We're still thinking about you, and obviously your teammates owe you a big thank you.
If they had the money, they should take their line out for a nice steak dinner. But speaking of dinner, I think it is dinner time, so let's get out of here and get some grub. We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.